Peace everybody, back with another video. This is 100 bodies found decomposing in rental trucks outside New York funeral home. And as you can see here, the police are at the scene where the U-Haul rental trucks are, where they got the bodies decomposing. And this is from April 30th, 2020. This story contains pictures of body bags that may be disturbing for some readers. Well, this is coming out of Brooklyn, New York. New York is ground zero for the virus pandemic. More than 14,000 people have died in the 5 boroughs alone, according to the New York Times. Nearly 5 times more than the number of people killed in the 9/11 terror attacks. So now they're saying that New York is ground zero for the virus pandemic. New York City, not the state of New York itself. New York City. They're saying that more than 14,000 people have died in the 5 boroughs alone. Now, first of all, people need to do research on Event 201 Agenda 2030. That's what people need to do. And you know what? The New York Times, they're not telling the truth either, because they're lying as well. And last night I saw one of the videos that Sean Hannity was on. Well, it was Fox News channel. And Sean Hannity had gave New York Times called the New York Toilet Paper Times, and I started cracking up laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he went there. Because the New York Times is not telling you the truth either. The city has even started digging new mass graves on the infamous Hart Island, where unclaimed corpses have been buried for more than a century. So these corpses, they have been buried for more than a century. So they're unclaimed corpses. So it could be a mother, father, child, grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncle, whoever it could be. It could be anybody. And nobody has claimed these corpses if their family members are not. But the overwhelmed system for handling what happens after death turned into a disturbing public scene on Wednesday, when 100 decomposing bodies were found in unrefrigerated U-Haul trucks outside a Brooklyn funeral home. So if these bodies were buried for more than a century, it has nothing to do with the virus. Nothing. So if they're going back 100 years, which is a whole century, that it doesn't have anything to do with the virus. So why are they lying, saying, oh, it's because of the virus? No, it's not because of the virus. Think of a century, how long it goes back. Nobody was claiming the bodies or anything, like from family members or whoever. And of course, as you can see, the U-Haul trucks that are where the workers are taking out the bodies that were decomposing for over, who knows, a century. And it's going to be kind of hard to identify them now because they were decomposing so bad. ABC7, the reports the city found out about it when people who lived nearby started complaining about the smell. Yeah, so the people, they started complaining about the smell of the bodies. And it is sad, shame people have to smell the decomposing bodies that were buried for more than a century. And people didn't want to smell that anymore, so they started complaining about it. In response, freezer trucks were sent out to temporarily store the bodies until final arrangements are made. Yeah, so they had to send out for the freezer trucks only temporarily store the bodies until final arrangements are made. So, and I mean, really, who wants to smell all these decomposing bodies that are a century old? The funeral home's owner said his freezer stopped working according to ABC7, but the state health department is investigating the situation to see if human remains were handled improperly. So the funeral home's owner said that his freezer stopped working. Well, he said his freezer stopped working. Why didn't he call somebody to get it fixed? He could at least call somebody to get the freezers working to put the bodies in until they're ready to be examined or be ready for an autopsy. But instead, he let it go. And this is according to ABC7, but the state health department is investigating the situation to see if human remains were handled improperly. So the health department are going to be doing their investigating to see if human remains were handled improperly. So, but if they were, then something's not right. But if they were, then, I mean, they could have been stored properly, but the funeral home owner didn't see to that until, because he let his freezer go and not have it fixed. This funeral home is overcapacitated with human remains, and that is true. Funeral director Dr. David Penn-Event told ABC7. He was reportedly brought in by the state to help. All right. People need to start calling funeral homes to see if they're really overcapacitated. And if they say no, then, the news media lies a lot because they're not telling the truth really what is going on. But how can anything like this be going on? Now, I've been seeing videos of a one person that goes out every day, video recording on his cell phone, proving that New York City is not have social distancing. They don't. People are out walking around, going shopping and everything. And and if people would just start calling places, see if they're busy, then it will be, and if they say no, then it will be okay. But how can the funeral home is overcapacitated if nobody is in the funeral home? That doesn't make sense. He got overwhelmed with the number of remains that he had, and he didn't know what to do. And I'm here to assist him in this operation. Pendipint said. Well, Pendipint saying that he was there to help, assist him. What is there to do, really? I mean, you got bodies that are buried from a century ago, and they're overwhelming with the smell of it, which is a pretty bad smell that people had to complain about it because they didn't want to smell it no more. They got tired of it. So they said, oh, look, we're tired of this smell, please. And so now this is why everything is being investigated. The New York Times reports it's not clear whether all the bodies belong to people who died from C-19. Oh, come on now. Really? Get real with this. I mean, people need to stop watching the fake media news and turn the TV off. I can't even watch my local news anymore without them talking about Rona this, Rona that. I can't anymore. I have to keep my TV off so I don't get tempted into watching it. The only time I turn my TV on is when I have my shows are on, and that's it. But other than that, the fake news, no, I won't. I will not watch it. I keep the TV off. And I mean, when are people going to learn to wake up and realize this is not real? This is Event 201 Agenda 2030. That's what it is. People are falling for this crappy fake news story every single day. People are out with masks when you don't need one because it'll hurt your oxygen level. Um, and I mean, really, all this social distancing? Really? Come on. But, I mean, seriously, this is ridiculous. I mean, how can you trust the mainstream media? How can you? You can't trust them anymore. Something is altered in the AI. I think that's what happened. Something got altered into our AI, and this is why they're coming out with this fake stories. The mainstream media needs to be revamped. It really does. It needs to be revamped to tell the real truth of what's going on. Because right now, the mainstream media is lying like crazy, and they're not going to give you the truth of what's really happening. But New York Times reports it's not clear whether all the bodies belonged to people who died from C-19. Yeah, okay. Let me know when I see the reports on that. But anyway, please just leave your TV off because it's not safe, it's dangerous, and the mainstream media. And like I said, I think the AI has been altered to put in the fake news in there because you know how many times they've been exposed to fake news. And yes, you could search it in a Google search, fake news exposed. It'll tell you everything, what's not true at all. Leave your comments below. I am out.